Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to MRC action on a Monday night. It's a bank holiday Monday in the UK, so it's not a official league race tonight, but we have for you another special event on a bank holiday Monday. We've got 19 drivers in the lobby tonight for a short qualifying session, and then a sprint race, and finally a 50% race around the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, of course. My name's Chatty Duck. I will be guiding you through the action tonight, and joining me in that task is Stefan, aka LRL, a fellow elite tier driver. So, good evening to you, Stefan. How are you doing today?
Yeah, good evening and welcome to everybody watching. Yeah, I'm feeling very good. Not a holiday in Germany, unfortunately, but still we're getting some MRC action at least with a special event. And yeah, we're gonna have a sprint race today. That's very exciting. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, not something that we usually see in the standard MRC tiers. I think occasionally in MRCX maybe there are some sprint races, but yeah, obviously something that is in real life F1, but we haven't seen a heck of a lot of in MRC. So it'll be interesting to see what that does to the tactics for the drivers. A sprint race around here for a 50% is a 10-lap race, and then the actual race itself, the feature race, I suppose, is 29 laps of the circuit. And we've got a mixture of tiers, well, hopefully all of the tiers represented in this race. We are running sport tier settings, so everyone can run an assist level that they are comfortable with. So it should make for a good evening of racing, and with the obviously day to night transition as well in Abu Dhabi, it should look quite dramatic. The drivers have all gone for their own liveries tonight, so we're running the F1 World cars rather than the standard grid. And this is also one of the last races that we'll be seeing from MRC on F1 23, with F1 24 coming out on Friday, so just 4 days away now for the official release of F1 24. And after the final round of races for this season, which will be next week at the Qatar Grand Prix, that'll be it for F1 23, and we will be moving on to F1 24 shortly after that.
Good that you mentioned it. I wasn't even thinking about it. Yeah, it feels a bit unreal. Like I know for me personally, I'm not feeling ready for the next game. It's very early, a bit unusual, but yeah, let's see what will come in the next game. And I'm not too optimistic to be honest, but we will see.
Yeah, there's been quite a bit of talk online about the handling model in the game so far not being great. I've seen a few sort of content creators who've had early access to the game speculating and commenting, reviewing the build so far, and saying that the handling isn't really up to scratch, which is a bit concerning. But I know as well, I saw something earlier saying that there will be, or there's likely to be a patch on the day the game comes out, which reportedly will fix those issues. So we'll just have to wait and see, hold our breaths. I mean, to be quite honest, the only thing now that I do on the F1 games is online league racing. So it's kind of in terms of, you know, features, as long as the core gameplay is up to scratch, then I'm all in. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, I suppose.
Yes, we have. I mean, surely the bigger glitches are going to be sorted out. But I also thinking that I don't think there's any really there isn't anything that's really new like revolutionary stuff. So I'm not expecting that every year, but especially this year, I think we've got no new tracks. The layouts they have updated some of the tracks, but no new tracks. We don't even have new drivers. It's basically new liveries, and so I thought they would be a little bit more creative, considering that. But we will see what is going to come out on. When is it? On Friday?
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah,
Friday is release day.
Okay, I'm gonna be on vacation anyway then, so start the action a little bit later. But yeah, well, let's see. By the way, I checked, and we have indeed all 4 tiers represented today, so that's very good.
Yeah, good to see. And like we said before, it's the settings or the assists have been allowed for basically everyone who races in MRC. They can run, the minimum of what's in sports tier. Guys from the upper tiers might prefer not using assists, and they can do that as well. So everyone should be able to be at a level that they are comfortable with. And because it's a special race as well, there's no consideration of, we don't have people reserving who need to back off in qualifying. Everyone can just go for it and see how they stack up against everyone else. For the guys in the lower tiers, it's a good opportunity for them to go up against some of the quickest guys in MRC. I know that the likes of Mark and Jay Sarge and Calvin from expert and elite tiers are pretty rapid guys. So if you're from a lower tier, it gives you a good opportunity to see how you stack up against some of the quicker drivers. And maybe it will give those guys an opportunity to think, well, maybe I can compete against these guys and turn some more assists off and move up to a higher tier ahead of next season. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We're just coming up to halfway through the short qualifying session, and we've had most drivers setting a time so far. And Xavier is just coming around the final corner to set his first flying time of the session, and he goes quickest with a 1:23.5.
Oh, that's a very decent lap for someone who hasn't got any practice, as he was publicly stating in the chat. So not a bad banker lap from my dear Alex. So,
yeah, is he
very unlucky last week. So in Imola, it wasn't his weekend, so we don't. There's no race on tonight, but good to see if things are starting to get better for him again.
Is he one of the guys who you would be in a party with during the races, Stefan?
Yes, we are. We are in every race actually, together with Jules when he's racing with the other German guy, and we also have some Dutchies joining us. So they are our German-Dutch party group.
And how does that sort of work out during the races? Are you guys sort of talking about strategy and things like that, or is it more just you guys are hanging out whilst you're racing?
Well, there's a little bit of help. There's always somebody asking, what kind of wings are you running? What kind of, do you have a good setup? But yeah, we're not. It's not like we're hiding our cards, and we're racing each other, but we're also giving our honest opinions. And when there is something happening on track, they say like, hey, watch out here, take care of that. I saw this and that. So that works pretty well, usually.
Yeah.
Except for last race in Imola, where 4 of us were caught out in an accident. So that got a bit tangled up. Unfortunately, that was quite unlucky. But usually it's going great, yeah. Oh, we have Womack with fast lap from tier 2 with a 1:23.2. That's even faster.
Yeah, almost 3/10 clear of the time that Xavier set before. We've still got 7.5 minutes or so left, so we should be expecting the times to come down a bit as the track evolves, and also as some of the drivers who haven't set a time yet will hopefully go out and set a time. G-Star is on a lap at the moment. We've still got Chaos, Ghost Rider and Anthony in the pits. Well, Anthony's not in the pits, but he's on intermediates, which is just classic Anthony on this game.
Yeah.
I know Chaos only just got in, so hopefully he can get out on track soon and set a time, as he is just starting an out lap. And G-Star puts himself into second place on his first timed lap, 123.5, just ahead of Saviour, but still a couple of tenths back from Womax. But quite a lot of drivers on track at the moment. We'll just watch Red Car Rambo coming through Sector 3. Another elite tier driver, teammate of Ugoni this season in the Ferrari. And out of the final corner, he goes into P6 with a 123.8. And he's running a bit of a McLaren inspired livery from Monaco by the looks of things, with the yellow and green, which of course was representing Ayrton Senna's old helmet from when he raced in Formula 1. So quite a nice livery there from Red Car, as we just cut to Mark having a bit of a spin just before the end of the lap. BITW goes P4, 23.6 for him. And Ant is still on those intermediate tyres.
Yeah, he's lots to go on a different strategy. I mean, it's not every day that we're seeing a car in Abu Dhabi on Inter, so let's just enjoy the moment. I see 28.4 is possible here on Inters.
That's really that's quicker than I would have thought was possible around this track.
It's probably a world record. Maybe because no one else would separate and would do something like this, but I guess it's not a bad time in general.
Yeah, not too bad. It's the slowest time we've seen, but it's still not last because of the fact that two drivers still haven't yet set a time. Saviour is on another flying lap. He's on his way down the first of the DRS straights and down now to the heavy braking zone of turn 6, I believe, the 6 and 7 chicane before the second DRS straight. And looking like a reasonable lap so far from the multiple champion. And he's improved by almost a quarter of a second after two sectors. So if he keeps that up, he will be potentially back to provisional pole ahead of Womax. With most of the top 10 currently in the pits or on just starting their laps. Saviour is around the final corner and over the line, and he does improve to P1.
Yeah, lands back the spot up front. Well, it's on the lap here. Alright, started. P17 is pitting. The Chaos Druid is setting his first time soon.
Yeah, he's just got a couple of corners left. And a penultimate corner, which is flat out after the changes that they made to this track a few years ago now. And P16 for Chaos. with that one and immediately gets out of the way because someone behind him is starting a lap. Ghost Rider has started his own lap as well, so we will get 20 times on the board as long as he doesn't invalidate. There's a lot of traffic in the first sector as he gets to the hairpin and now onto the DRS straight that we mentioned before. We've only got 2 minutes left in this session, so drivers will be on their final flying laps very shortly. And I don't know if they've replicated. I don't know if they have with real life how the sprint sessions sort of work now in real life Formula One. I'm guessing that it's still the old system where you qualify for the sprint, and then the sprint result dictates the grid for the actual race. As Airways puts himself into pole position.
Wow. But yeah, it is indeed still the old system. I'm not complaining though, because I think that one makes more sense. Otherwise, the sprint race is just a little race basically that is not being taken as seriously. Like that was the reason to make a sprint race, to have a different kind of qualifying. But yeah, anyway, Jay Sarge now leading the first 122.8 even. That's a nice lap.
Yeah, and just showing the track evolution that is going on as G-Star also into the 22s, just behind J Sarge. And let's see if we can find someone. Red car is in the final sector, currently in P8. And a second off. Saviour has retired. I think that might have been in the pit lane. Doesn't look like a crash on track. And red car improves to P6 with that. And there's a few cars out there. It's going to be hard to know who to follow. Womax is improving. Airways is done. I think G-Star as well. And J-Sarge. So Womax is probably the only one who could really shake things up at the front. Although Mark as well. He's not had a great second sector though. He's slightly down on his best. And he goes very, very wide. In the start of Sector 3. Let's see if Womax is still up on his time. He is by 3/10, so we'll keep an eye on him when he comes around to finish the lap. Mark is coming up to the line. He does not improve on his previous best, stays in 8th place. Womax is probably the only one now. Red car is invalidated. So Womax with just one more corner. Looks to get a good exit out there and up to the line. He puts himself back into second. So between J Sarge and G Star in the 1 minute 22s. Monster, I think excuse me, I think he set a quicker time, but he invalidated, so his position does not change. We've still got Era Voice on the lap, coming up to the finish line.
And he's coming for P5. Oh, that's it.
So quite a lot of movement there in the final moments with the improving grip out on the circuit. And a few drivers just dipping under 23 or in the low 23s. And yeah, should be a good race.
I think so. So yeah, of course, comes the sprint race. In a sprint race, people are gonna try something. Maybe, you know, it's not, even if you crash out, it's not the end of the day. The main race is still coming, so I think we're gonna see some overtakes for sure.
Yeah, and hopefully...
But I have to say, Womax in P2 is a really good lap. Really good surprise from a Tier 2 driver. Well, actually 2 Tier 2 drivers with J-Sarge. I mean, he's a multiple He has multiple world championships in MRC, but he's in tier 2 right now. So actually, the tier 1 boys are not up front.
Yeah, and Airways as well in fourth place is
There
tier
was
two.
too.
So yeah, the tier two boys representing. I think really what that shows as much as anything is that there's not really a lot of difference between tier one and tier two in terms of pace. I think for some of those drivers, it's more a preference in terms of the assists that they run. Pace-wise, they're right up there. Obviously, Jay Sarge is, as you mentioned, is a multiple champion. So we will be having a short break now between that first qualifying and the sprint race. So, Stefan, I mean, what do you make of this track since they made the adjustments? It's been a few years now, actually, since they did. But how do you feel it compares to the old layout?
Um, I like those changes. I think it's flowing a little bit more. I have to say, so it took me some time to get used to them. I mean, somehow I struggled with that. I don't know why, but it's never been my strongest track anyway. But still, yeah. Then some time passed until I could adapt to it. But now I like it. I think the last sector is fun to drive. It's some really nice corners that you have there. I think it's good that they did this.
Yeah, it really, for me, it really changed the character of the track. It went from being quite a technical track to suddenly being a lot more free flowing and fast. And yeah, like you said, that third sector, they've really opened up all of those corners so you can really attack them now. Obviously, the run between uh, turns 2 and 3 and 4, I think, before you get to the hairpin of 5, is quite different to how it used to be. Sort of opens up a bit of an overtaking opportunity through there. And then, yeah, the at the end of the second DRS straight as well, the new corner there, the sort of long sweeping left-hander, where before that bit was just was really what, as they would say, Mickey Mouse through there, just slow technical corners, not particularly memorable. But yeah, it's kind of just opened up the track quite a bit more and made it a lot more interesting, in my opinion, as well. So I don't mind racing here as much as I used to a few years ago. And yeah, obviously with it being a night race as well, it's always quite dramatic. Sort of the dusk to night transition is pretty cool to see as you're experiencing a race. The sprint race will be taking place purely at night, but I think for the 50% later, we will have that transition. And yeah, we'll just have to see what happens because, of course, like we said, the sprint race result will set the grid for the 50% race. I think if it was a normal league race, that might affect how the drivers approached it. Maybe they wouldn't want to go for moves so much in case they didn't work. But given that this race is, doesn't really have any repercussions, they might as well just go out there and try and make some moves and give us a good show.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, um, you never know what happens here. This, it's a track where you can actually overtake quite well. There are multiple overtaking spots, and when you overtake, you can still fight for the next couple of corners. So, yeah, gonna be some eventful 10 laps.
Jay Sarge has just dropped me a line on Discord to say, yeah, how's that lap for my second hot lap with no practice? So yeah, well done, Jay Sarge, very nice.
Yeah. You were praised on stream already.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think he might have been fishing for it, but I fell right into that one.
We want to create a friendly atmosphere here, so he's gonna get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grant him his wish.
Yeah. Well, what I will say, Jay Sarge, is that I think that for the next game for F124, you need to lose some of those final assists, mate, and get back into the top tier, so you can prove once
Definitely,
again
yeah.
just how quick you are.
We are missing you.
Yeah, absolutely. We need as many top end drivers as possible, I think, in elite. We have a lot already, but yeah, Jay Sarge certainly added into that mix is a big help. I guess the other thing for the sprint race is there is still an element of tyre strategy, because you can run. It's a question of, do you go for the softs or do you go for the mediums? I would imagine you would want to go for the mediums for 10
See
laps.
what we have here. Yeah, we have got the mediums. 3 guys on hards though. So Xavier, Error Voice, and Burden. Interesting.
Yeah, that's a bit of a surprise to me. I didn't think we'd be seeing the hards at all. But yeah, 3 drivers have gone for that. I feel like the mediums would be comfortably able to manage 10 laps and still be quicker than the hards, but maybe these guys know a thing or two more than I do.
You have to keep in mind that the tires that they are using now in the sprint race will not be available, or will not be fresh tires in the main race. So if you have the medium now, you don't have a second fresh medium for the main race. Something that I always tend to forget, but now when I'm not driving, I remember it. But every time I'm taking part in the main race where there was a sprint race before, I'm at some point starting to swear that, what the fuck, where is my second medium? Yeah. I have to remind myself. So that's why I said it.
Yeah. So everyone is just coming into the third sector on the formation lap, and we'll find out in a second how good everyone is with the parking when they get to the grid. I embarrassed myself a bit at Imola the other day when I overshot my grid slot and got disqualified from the session. So we'll see how everyone gets on with that as they take their places on the starting grid. There's the first one. Wumax has missed it. Iravoice as well. There's a car in the middle of the track. I don't know if he's going to manage to get into his slot. No, red car. And Bergen as well. So good from the majority of drivers, but now we get to the real action. The sprint race at Abu Dhabi, as the 5 red lights come on. And we get underway for the sprint. And it looks like Jay Sarge has got off to a decent start from the front. Bit of changes throughout the grid and got a pretty good getaway. He's up to 4th. Mark as well, I saw, got up to 8th. Red car has jumped Xavier. Probably not a surprise with Xavier on the hard tyres. Oh, Kaiser Soze.
Yeah.
My teammate.
No damage for him though.
Like, the midfield was very busy there. And Mark is lining up Xavier. Xavier sort of defending the middle of the track, but then braking very early, allowing Mark to move through. And yeah, quite a bit of overtaking going on into the heavy braking zone. like,
A few cars got tangled up there. Saw some wings flying.
yeah, Scottish Ninja has lost his front wing. Bergen looks okay. Looks like his front wing is okay, but yeah, that was definitely some contact. And Calvin has dropped back to P16. He was in P10 a moment ago, and he has lost out quite a bit there as we come towards the end of the first lap.
The Ghost Rider and B17 are the big winners from the last row on the grid up to P12, P13. So, very nice start from them.
Yeah, really good. And then Airways lost a couple of places. It's going from 4th to 6th. Red Car got a great start. And Bergen has retired. Where is that?
In the pit lane.
The pit lane, yeah. Okay. So he must not have fancied it after losing out at the start. And we can see Red Car having a look to get past Ant into turn 6. No, turn 6. I think.
Oh, Split loses. Thankfully, their ghosting is activated. Otherwise, there would have been a crash and spun.
Yeah, it looked like that was Smith, and he's lost out to Kaiser Soze. Scottish Ninja had to pit to get a nose change, so he's now at the back. But up at the front, it's fairly...
Marcus round. The next spin.
Oh, yeah, and that's where he spun in qualifying as well. He had an incident through there, and that's dropped him way down the order to P16. And these are obviously really significant incidents for these guys because it will affect their grid position for the actual race itself that's coming up. So you especially need to avoid making mistakes like that. As we see up at the front, the top 5 or 6 separated fairly evenly. Red Car closing in on Ant once again, but not quite close enough to make a move. I'm sure Ant is doing his usual of preserving his tyres as much as he can to use them later on. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1 once again as Scottish Ninja is out.
Got a safety car.
A safety car in the sprint. So a short race anyway, and now it's going to feel even slightly longer, as we have a couple of laps behind the safety car, but it really means that when they get back to green, it's basically going to be a 5-lap sprint to the end.
Yeah, so usually you would see many people pitting now, but not in this case, I think. It's just a sprint race and people want to save their tires. So maybe at the back of the grid someone will do so. Yeah, Calvin is going into the pit lane as his error voice.
So I wonder what this is for. Is this damage or... Here's a change of tyres. They've gone for the softs.
Yeah, I mean, no. Driving the whole race on soft tires is maybe a bit too much to ask for with 10 laps, but now we only have 6 laps remaining and we're behind the safety car, so why not? That should be easily doable.
And they were pretty close to the back of the grid anyway, so they didn't have a huge amount to lose by making that change. So we'll just turn off the tyres, get the scoreboard a bit clearer, and then we can see what happens when we get back underway in a lap or two as the safety car takes the driver's around this track. We should get away at the end of lap 5. The field spread is not too much. Even with the guys that pitted at the back, they're catching up to the back quite quickly. We might even get going before the end of this lap. Everyone is in position, but I think the safety car will take them round to the end of lap number 5. And not a huge amount of change up at the front. J Sarge leading from Womax and G Star. Saviour in P7 on his hard tyres. Will be fairly pleased, I think, because he hasn't lost out. I think he has lost a position, but really when you're on the hards with everyone around you on mediums, it's difficult to get the tyres warmed up and get the pace really to hold position.
I'm not sure if he's gonna have a hard tire, a fresh hard tire for the race now, for the main race. I don't know about that, so maybe that will limit his strategy options in the main race. Not sure about that.
Yeah, you'd imagine he'll have to be having a 2-stop in the race. I don't think you can really get the mediums far enough to negate the softs, because the softs, like you said, they won't last many laps at all. Monster in the chat wants us to have a look at his livery based off one of my Comic Con cosplays, he says. You'll have to tell us more about that, Morn. I have no idea really about cosplay. It looks good.
Yeah, I can't say more, unfortunately, but a decent livery. I like it.
Yeah. So safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. J Sarge taking over the safety car responsibility, setting the pace for the pack in the third sector and warming up his tyres whilst doing so. And judging by what he was saying earlier, he's pretty confident about his pace. But he hadn't pulled out too much of a gap to Womax before the safety car came out, but he has gone for it now, and I think he's done a pretty good job to catch the guys behind slightly off guard. 8/10 going over the line is the advantage for J Sarge, and then it's Womax, G Star, Ants, Red Car, Airways and Saviour all pretty close. Monster close up behind Saviour as well, and he will be wanting to do what he can to get past Saviour on those hard tyres. It'll be difficult though for the next couple of laps when we don't have DRS, but Monster is going to have a go on the straight. He's got the inside line and he's got the braking, but Saviour's going to try and hold it around the outside, does so very well. It still might be a close call though into the next braking zone. Looks from this angle like Saviour just about has the edge, but Morn does have the inside line and he's taken it from Saviour, and Don might have a look as well. No, Saviour's coming back again. Really great action here between the two.
Great defending there. I thought he would have to give up the position, but no, he really fought back.
Really shows you what a champion is made of in MRC. That was brilliant defending from Saviour for pretty much half a lap.
It was definitely.
And he's not lost. Well, he's outside of a second away from Airways, but it didn't feel like that defending cost him as much time as it could have done. So he's still got a chance to maybe come back into things with Airways in front of him if those medium tyres do start to go off. Morn might be close enough. Mornson might be close enough to have another go. He is. He's going to look down the inside once again. Saviour later on the brakes, and he's going to be able to hold it around the outside once more. Can Mornson get the cutback? He's got a slightly better run, and he's using overtake around the outside of Saviour. I don't think that's going to work for him around the outside. Saviour defends the inside once more and holds on to P7, and now Mornson's lost the car.
Oh no. And he's hit the wall. Front wing is broken.
Yeah. Oh, and then did he hit Calvin? Oh, and then there's a spinner. That was B17. Yeah, Monster, he's lost one of his end plates, so he'll have to pit. There's no way he can carry on with that one. And yep, in he comes. So that has relieved some of the pressure that was on Saviour.
Mark is round again. He's taking a donut on the finish straight. It looks like he's won the title, but unfortunately it was just a spin. So that's not good for him. So probably now he will have to shift his focus on to the main race.
Yeah, we've got a good battle here up at the front. It's very close between J Sarge, Wumax and G-Star. It looked for a moment like there might be an overtake after the first ERS straight. J Sarge is very low on his ERS, and that is going to allow Wumax to go right around the outside of him. J Sarge having a look back on the inside, but I think Wumax will hold it. Really nice move from him to take over the lead. B17 is out.
Oh. Dropped it at the chicane apparently.
Yeah, I don't think we saw if that was him just losing the car, if there was some contact, but unfortunately for him, I mean, he was near the back anyway, so he won't lose too much from that going into the main race. But this is a nice battle developing up at the front. Wumax, J Sarge, G-Star and Ant are all in pretty close attendance to each other as we start lap 9 out of 10. I think Sarge and G-Star could well be in position to make a move on Wumax, who's running low on ERS. You can tell that from his light flashing on the rear of the car. Sarge is going to go for it on the inside. G-Star hangs back just a bit, but he might be able to do something now on this second straight. I think he might be running quite low on ERS as well. But he does go around the outside of Wumax. He might get J Sarge as well. J Sarge back on the inside. So close, these two. I think G-Star's got it.
Well, they still so yeah, no. Now J Sarge has to concede the position. Wow. Yeah, no, it's G-Star in the lead.
Third to first along that one straight. Fantastic stuff from G-Star, but we still have one more lap to go in the sprint, and there are 4 drivers who could win this race. I think there's less than a second separating every single one of them.
It is, it's crazy, yeah.
And I just wonder here about Anthony, if he has been managing his tyres and his ERS, he could...
It's not flashing.
Yeah, he could well spring up something here on this last lap. It's going to be difficult though, because everyone in front of him will have DRS except for except for G-Star, sorry. Here's Wumax on the back of J Sarge, but no changes of position for now. And I think this next straight really is going to be the last opportunity for these guys to do something. G-Star burning his battery. J Sarge as well, and G-Star's been able to hold it. Sarge had a look around the outside, but not able to make it work. And no changes really further back. A bit of action down in 12th to 9th. Quite a bit of side-by-side action going on there as well. That's Ghost Rider, Calvin, Era Voice, and Don as well, leading that little group. But back up at the front, it's been a pretty dramatic sprint race in the end, and G-Star is going to take the victory from Chase Sarge, Wumax, and Anthony.
Wow, well, it was really close up front.
Yeah, super stuff between those four.
Indeed, the first 4 cars within 1 second. That's insane. Makes you very curious about the main race. If that repeats, we're gonna like it.
Yeah, exactly. More of the same, please. For the next 29 laps, G-Star will be starting on pole with J Sarge alongside him on the front row. J Sarge's in-game character looks pretty pleased with himself. I think that J Sarge in real life might be a little bit disappointed that he's not taken the win there, but still not a bad position to start from in the race P2. Ant is in the chat saying that he's got brake pedal issues. I hope that didn't seem to be holding you back too much in the sprint there, Ant, but hopefully you can get that sorted before we get underway for the main race.
Well, but if it did, you can only imagine what his potential would be.
Yeah, he says he can't attack on corner exits, which is a shame.
Yeah. No, of course, that's really unfortunate for him. We also gotta mention Arrow Voice. He fought his way back to the top 10. I mean, he was last at the safety car restart. He really made the soft tires work.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'd forgotten about the fact that we had some guys on the softs there. It was Calvin as well, I think, and he got up to 12th, I think. So yeah, that was definitely a factor there late on. I just wonder as well how the medium tyres were holding up towards the end of that race, because we saw Saviour got himself back up into P6. He overtook Redcart in the last couple of laps. So maybe the hards were starting to become the quicker tyre at that point.
That's possible, indeed, yeah.
And we'll have to see if Saviour has used up his set of hards now for the race, because if he has, I would imagine that he's going to have to make a two-stop strategy.
Well, they might have to do this.
Yeah, Monster, that was unlucky when you had that spin, but it was a great battle with Saviour. Pretty crucial for Saviour as well to hold on as he did. It allowed him to move up later on.
I'm curious what he's gonna do in the race now, what he has planned for that with the hard tires in use already. Because since we have a 5-minute break, I would just go and grab something to drink. It's pretty warm here, so
yeah,
I will be back in a second in time for the start of the race.
Yep, sure. So if anyone in chat feels like keeping me company for a little bit. Oh, and so it's just getting stuck on a little bit with the inputs. Maybe while you've got the time between the sprint and the actual race, maybe just try disconnecting them for a moment and maybe clearing out around that pedal. I've had that sort of an issue before. and sometimes just a quick reconnect and a quick dust off of the actual pedal seems to help. But yeah, that is very annoying. Another thing that's very annoying is that my mic keeps, or my headphones rather, keep sort of, the audio keeps dropping out a bit, so hopefully that's not affecting it for you guys watching. If it is, just let me know in the chat and I can try to fix it. We had something the other day when I was commentating on sport here with Morgan, and I realised watching the stream back that at times the audio was really strange, and you could barely hear me because the sound of the in-game audio was so loud. So, and at the time I had no idea. It was all very bizarre, but possibly a slightly aging headset. I think might have to get a new one. So as I mentioned before, this is coming towards the end of the F1 23 game cycle. Certainly for MRC, we've got this race tonight, and then the final round of the Season 13 Championship across all 4 tiers, and of course MRCX, so all 5 tiers. That'll be taking place starting on this Friday the 31st of May for MRCX, and then the following Monday and Wednesday all the other tiers will be concluding for their season. And I think we've got at least a couple of title deciders in those as well. Certainly sport tier, I think possibly expert as well, and maybe comp tier, but I'm not sure on that one. Elite has been wrapped up. Ugoni absolutely dominant once again. Drove brilliantly throughout the season and held off the challenges of Reese and Kid Dynamite. So should probably extend congratulations to Ugoni on that as a fellow Elite tier driver for myself and LRL. And I don't think there could be any arguments that Ugoni is the fastest man in that tier and the fastest man in the whole of MRC to boot. I don't really think that anyone is on his level. As we know, with a new game cycle beginning, potentially quite significant changes with how the cars drive. Maybe gives an opportunity for different drivers to move to the front and, you know, feel more comfortable with the new handling. So that will be something that unfold when the new game comes out on Friday. So hopefully not too much longer before we get underway. We will be starting the race at 8 o'clock, I can see from Discord. So still got about 2 or 3 minutes to go. I can see as well from the Discord that Saviour actually selected the hards by accident in the sprint race. He didn't mean to do that.
I was wondering what he was up to. Okay.
Yeah, and he doesn't have. Yeah, now he doesn't have a set for the race.
So yeah, so we have probably we will see a 2-stop from him.
Yeah. What would you be looking for strategy-wise here, Stefan? Would it be a hard, medium, medium hard, or something different?
Usually, yes. I mean, if I had a guarantee that there was a safety car in the first 5 laps, I would start on the softs and then do a two-stop with the mediums.
Yeah.
But generally, probably starting on the mediums and then going on the hards. There's an echo. I hear myself. I don't. Hasn't been there before. I've just tried to.
Is that any better, or is it still there?
Oh, let's see. No. Now it seems to be better.
Okay. Yeah, I was just saying before this. I think my headset is on its last legs. To be honest, it's starting to be really sensitive to me moving
No, I
the
think
cable.
that was actually my headset. I pulled out the cable and then I
Ah,
put it
okay.
back in. Then it was gone, and it wasn't there to begin with. So, yeah, don't know what that was.
Okay, sounds like it's all sorted now.
Yeah.
Okay, I was saying I'm quite chuffed to be where I am in the league for first season here. Yeah, you've done very well, mate. Hopefully a sign of things to come as we move on to the next game. Hopefully you can have a good race. And we should be starting now. It is 8 o'clock. And there we go. Formation lap is underway for 29 laps of Abu Dhabi. And let's see, yeah, a few guys in that top 10 starting on the softs, which is, I mean, not all of them were used up their hard tyres in that sprint, so it's a bit strange to see Womack and Anthony on the softs, but Saviour is going to start on the softs, as we might have expected him to do. Red car in.
Qualified.
Yeah, I think he must have hit someone off the start line for that to happen.
Probably. Yeah, indeed, Xavier on the soft tires now, so we can predict his strategy, but interesting though that he's not the only one who's maybe forcefully having to do this. So there are also other guys on the soft tires, Womack and Bit. So gotta be interesting to see. And also a few guys on hards with Redcar, Chaos, Druid, Mark, and Bergen.
Yeah, they'll be playing the long game, hoping not to see an early safety car. Whereas if you're Womax and Saviour or BITW, you might not mind an early safety car so much, because it will give you the chance to make a pit stop without losing so much time. But they'll be trying to make the most of their extra grip at the start of this race. I think with the heavy fuel, it might even be less than a handful of laps before they start to lose their grip.
Oh, Gisa was out of the box, the pole setter.
Yeah, and that could make a difference. That's going to move him back in his grid slot quite a distance. So, yeah, you can see on board with Jay Sarge, G-Star is maybe a meter back from where he should be. So we'll stay on board with Jay Sarge for the start as the 5 red lights come on. And as they go out, we are underway. But that looked like a fairly even start. G-Star was able to get away quite nicely and not lose out to Jay Sarge. Saviour's got up to P4 already, so he's had a cracking getaway on those soft tyres.
Oh, Smith is in the back, in the wall.
Oh, virtual safety car. So
Ninja as well. There has been a collision.
yeah, just a virtual safety car. So we'll get back going again quite shortly. But it looked like J Sarge was lining up to start into turn 5, but then had to back out of it because of the yellow flags.
And has lost 4 places though during the start. And he was on the soft tires as well, so that's definitely not what he planned.
I hope that's not the same braking issue that he was having earlier.
Maybe his issues are affecting. He was taking it very cautiously.
Yeah, that is a shame, because he was looking so strong in the sprint race, even with that issue. But it looks like it's potentially affected him quite a bit more now as we get going once again. And Womax has absolutely caught J Sarge out, and then Saviour has made the most of that little bit of contact between the two of them and got up into P2. So straight away on the restart, a huge amount of action, and Saviour has launched himself up near to the front of the grid now.
He has. I mean, wow. I mean, well, he thought, now I'm forced to start on the soft tires. Well, let's make use of them. And yeah, he's making the best out of his situation. So, cracking start from him from P6 into P2.
Yeah, it looked to me that Womax just judged the virtual safety car restart to perfection, but unfortunately where he caught J Sarge, he was on the inside. There might have been a bit of contact. Ant is now coming back. He's just overtaken Don for P7. But yeah, it looked like Womax got a bit sideways out of the penultimate corner, and J Sarge went wide, and Saviour was just able to slip past the pair of them up into second place. So I don't think he could have hoped for a much better start than this when he put those soft tyres on. Everyone coming round towards the end of the second lap. My timing screen is a bit of a mess at the moment. It's just starting to recalibrate itself. Saviour setting the fastest lap, unsurprisingly, with those soft tyres, as we've got another virtual safety car. I think, B17 is missing a front wing.
He is. Again, no safety car. I think for the moment, Saviour's going to be fine with that, but in a few laps he would love to have a little safety car, probably.
Yeah, I mean, this is allowing the guys on the softs to manage their tyre wear a bit more with these virtual safety cars, because they aren't taking so much life out of them. B17 unfortunately lost his front wing maybe a couple of 100 meters after the pit lane entry, so now he's having to do a full lap, although with the VSC he's not losing as much time as he would have been. But now we are back to green flag racing once again, and now it's J Sarge who was a bit more feisty on that restart, up behind Saviour. But I think for the moment Saviour is still going to have the grip advantage, and it's going to be Womax really behind J Sarge who is going to be putting on some pressure. Another man who's quietly in quite a good spot at the moment, as long as we don't get a safety car, is Red Car Rambo on the hard tyres in P6. He's got Ant behind him, and those soft tyres will probably not be at their best for too much longer. And then from there, it's just going to be a matter of time before the hard tyres become quicker than the mediums as well. B17 is out, and that has triggered a third virtual safety car. Actually, no, I think the safety car is coming out. I think I can see the safety car on the track map, just coming towards the end of the pit lane.
Wondering where Yeah, I think you're right, but where is the car from V17? Where did he retire? Like that was weird. Yeah, the safety car is coming out. I see it. Uh, Strange though. Looks like he retired in the pit lane.
Yeah, possibly. I didn't see his car anywhere on the track either when he retired. And the graphic has updated now to a safety car. So what does this mean for the likes of Xavier and Wumax on the softs? I think you've really got to make the stop now and switch to a more durable compound. Let's see now. Yeah, Xavier's coming in. Wumax as well. Ant is going to carry on. The tyre whisperer once again feels like he can squeeze a bit more out of that set of tyres. And we see Xavier going for the mediums. And it'll be the same for Wumax. Don has switched onto the soft tyres.
Onto? That's an interesting choice.
Yeah. He's definitely going to have to make another stop with that.
Yeah, maybe just a little sprint in between, and then he will go on to the mediums again. Or onto the hards, who knows. That's good for Xavier. Now he had to pit, of course, but he's still in P11, so he's just outside of the top 10. And otherwise he would have dropped back to the back of the grid.
Yeah, and it's really a one-stop race for him now. He's only got to... I don't think the mediums will go to the end of the race from here. So I think he will have to stop again.
Yeah.
But everyone ahead of him is in the same position, really. They've all got to make a pit stop. And yeah, P11 is not bad for Xavier. And really, it's gone exactly how he might have wanted so far. He got himself near the front on the softs to begin with. And then a safety car has come out early in the race so that he can pit off those tyres and not lose so much time. Just seeing at the back at the moment, Smith is on 3-lap-old softs. I'd imagine he'll come into the pits as well. No, he is going to carry on with those tyres. And I say it again that Red Car is still in a really good position. And Chaos Druid as well, up into P6 on his hard tyres. They must be very happy with how this has gone.
Very good, yeah.
So far.
So he's gonna be on the mediums later on. That's gonna be like the fastest stint. So he's in a very decent position now. Already quite successful in the sprint race, and the main race is off to a good start as well for him.
Thanks, Martin, for dropping in. Hope to see you again soon, buddy. Riding bikes down massive mountains in the sun and drinking cold beer on hot terraces. That sounds pretty good to me, Martin. So I hope you have a good time in Andorra. G-Star backing up the pack significantly. This image of all these cars just queuing up. They're all so close together. It'd be very easy here for someone to just get a bit overzealous and run into the back of the car in front and do some damage. The nerves will be really kicking in now as well for these guys, and G-Star has gone for it. That is quite early, but he has done a reasonable job. About half a second or so, 5 or 6 tenths clear of J Sarge with that one. But we are back on the way. Smith with a 5-second penalty. I think he must have overtaken someone too soon. Ooh, J Sarge getting really sideways there on the exit of turn 1. And that's put him a bit closer to Airways behind him. Big gap behind to Red Car. And Calvin has got past Chaos Druid for P6.
Oh, Xavier making the first move already as well.
And Womack's behind, following through. Don as well, looking to get past Ghost Rider. And Womack's might even have a look at Xavier. No. Stays behind for the time being. No DRS available yet, of course. So it'll be quite difficult to make a move. We're going to have to keep a bit of an eye on Ant, I think. He's done 6 laps on the softs now. I can't imagine that they have got much more life in them, as Chaos Druid has gone for a spin and dropped down the order.
Unfortunate. We are just mentioning that it went so well. Now we jinxed it again. We're sorry for that.
And I think Monster might have got past BITW as well. It looked like they were changing positions a fair bit. So Xavier and Womack's now both up into the top 10 with much fresher tyres than everyone ahead of them, so they'll be looking to continue this charge. Lap 8 out of 29. There won't be DRS available just yet. This is only the second lap after the restart. It'll be activated next time round. And there's a few drivers up and down the pack who are within a second. It's going to be 3 wide between Kaiser Soze, Xavier and Calvin, is that? No, that was Iravoice, I think. But yeah, Xavier getting a great launch. Calvin looked like he went wide or had a moment coming out of turn 7. But he was able to get back up to speed quickly enough. Womax now is going past Iravoice for 9th place. Xavier 0.3 of a second behind Calvin, who has lost quite a bit of time to Ant. Xavier almost having a look down the inside of Calvin. But the freshness of those medium tyres making quite a difference at the moment. Kaiser Soze has lost positions down to P11. Looks like he had a bit of a moment, and that has not been a good lap for him, all the way down to outside of the points now.
So it looks like Xavier's gonna pass Calvin soon on the straight when he's gonna have DRS, which Calvin won't have. So then he will have contact to top 5 again. So he will be back where he started. He already made up for his first pit stop, except for a few seconds that he's behind maybe. So it's really going well for Xavier at the moment.
And he's made up that 6th position now past Calvin. Calvin struggling a bit at the moment with those tyres, and going past Red Car. How is Ant doing this on 8-lap-old soft tyres?
I mean, he's the tyre whisperer of this league. He loves to start on soft tyres and stretch them, as far as possible and beyond. So that's something he can do. I think he can pull off a 1-stop. for sure. And oh, red car spun.
Oh, red car from a strong position.
Ah,
That's really scuppered him down to at least 12th place. Womack's now still trying to get past Calvin. He hasn't managed it yet. Saviour now up to P5 with the spin from red car, and it's suddenly got very close up towards the front. Top three, all with less than half a second between them, and Ant is in DRS of the three of them. Let's see what happens here. Jay Sarge is not going for it at the moment. Past G-Star, this might be why things are backing up, because he's not going for the move at the moment. And yeah, Ant has now caught right up to Airways, so I'm assuming that Ant's brake issue has fixed itself. G-Star has, where are they? I couldn't see them, but G-Star has defended it from J-Sarge. J-Sarge, though, still might have the inside line, the high line. Oh, and
touch is still going. Oh, J-Star stays behind G-Star for the moment.
wow, that I don't know how G-Star held on to that, because it looked like he was behind J-Sarge, and he was slightly forced off track on the outside as well, but he somehow managed to still have the grip to hold on to the lead. And Saviour is catching this group now as well. He was 4 seconds back last lap, and it's now 2.4.
Wow, yeah. Saviour's really catching up now, especially if these guys start fighting like this again. Gonna see probably. Yeah, J-Sarge is going for it again. Now it's an easy move. But let's see if... Yeah. Oh yeah, he's all broken himself, or break himself a little bit.
Well, with Jay Sarge making that move on the first DRS straight,
coming back at him, yeah.
Yeah, he was always likely to lose it, although he stuck it in on the inside. Wow. That was so close. Oh, and Airways has spun, and he's out of the race. And that's going to be another safety car.
Safety car. Wow. Oh, that's very good news, though, for the guys ahead. So
yeah,
basically,
definitely.
You can put on the hard tires now and go to the end.
Yeah, this is perfect timing for them. I mean, the way Ant has been going, he could probably stick the mediums on and get to the end from here.
Out.
Wow, does Saviour maybe think he can get to the end on the mediums that he's got?
He has no hard tire, remember. This is very bad news for him, so he basically has no choice. So that's really a nightmare scenario for Saviour.
Yeah, and did he have a second set of mediums? I don't know. But
yeah,
well, even if he did, it's too early, isn't it? Perhaps.
Yeah, it would be risky.
And Ant didn't fancy it either. He's gone for the hards and come back out in P6. 3 drivers at the front did not come in. Saviour, who we've mentioned, Bergen and BITW have all stayed out on their tyres. So Saviour has a bit of protection from the likes of G-Star behind. He's got a bit of a buffer with the extra drivers who stayed out. So he might be able to pull a bit of a gap at first. But yeah, he's still not in the ideal position with this second safety car coming out. When it did, he probably needed another 5 laps or so to be sure that he could make the switch to the other set of mediums that I assume he has.
Arrow Voice picked the soft tires. He also, remember, he is also one of the drivers who used the hards in the sprint race. If I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, but
No, I think
Xavier
you are
was
right.
the only one who used the hard tires. So, of course, this is a special situation where you see most of the grid were thankful for the opportunity and picked the hard tires, but we have some drivers who actually can't do that.
So Smith has been in the chat saying I think he's left the session, but his car is still out on track and racing in AI mode. You can see it's kind of ghosted as it goes around the track, but I don't think it's causing any problems.
No, yeah, it's ghosted. Yeah, well, his car should be catching up to the field in time, and then we will probably have a restart at the end of the lap.
Yeah, that should be enough time. You'll probably catch the snake of cars by the end of the straight, or just after the first DRS straight. So yeah, looks like he's pretty much there. And the second sector line is coming up, and there we go, safety car coming in. So we saw earlier G-Star, when he was controlling the pack, he really backed things up in the third sector so he could launch it early on. But Xavier is moving things along slightly quicker, so there's not quite as much bunching as there was before. He's still going to have to wait another couple of corners or so because the safety car is still not at the entrance of the pit lane. It is now, so it's just a question of when does Xavier go. Let's see from Bergen's perspective how Xavier plays this. He's gone for it with 2 corners left in the lap, and he's got a pretty good launch on Bergen and BITW. So now the question is, how long is it going to take G-Star, J Sarge and everyone else to get past BITW and Bergen on older tyres, with Xavier already a second clear and Scottish Ninja picking up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And there goes G-Star. Yeah, into the hairpin of turn 5. G-Star up into 3rd place. J Sarge not close enough at the moment to do something similar. Ant with a late braking. Oh no, it wasn't Ant, it was J Sarge actually.
I don't know if this was planned or if he was just surprised that it was braking quite early, but it looks like he can pull off an unexpected overtake there, yes.
Yep, and G-Star as well has got right up to Bergen already, and there was a bit of side-by-side through there as well.
That's a crucial one. No, maybe he can, with the help of Bergen, open up a little gap between him and J-Sarge.
Yeah, and it means that he's already got the leader in his sights. Bergen very wide out of the final corner, and that's given J Sarge the opportunity to go through, and BITW as well having a look on the inside of Bergen, and for the time being has just got to be patient with this traffic jam of cars in front of him, but he will be trying his best to make a move shortly as well. He's got Calvin in very close attendance behind. And now Womax has got involved in this battle, and we might be going 3 wide down this straight. Era Voice on the inside, but he's dropped back slightly. And I can't really tell from here what's happening. Calvin on the inside, but Womack's go around the outside.
Arrow voice. Having a look at Calvin. You don't know. Now Bergen stays ahead. That's bad news for Arndt. He's still behind the two guys.
Yeah, and there's not a lot he can do really while these two are battling so hard. He doesn't want to get caught up in anything because he's not really racing them. But look at the group of cars this is holding up.
I think the fastest lap as well. Yeah, now look how much they're already right at the back of Xavier. So Xavier really starting to struggle with the tires, and showing why it was not an option to pit for him, because if the mediums are already that slow with 11 laps, you could never stretch them to the end.
Yeah,
from
and
the point where the safety car came out. So,
and he's lost the lead, and behind him Bergen and BITW still battling. Calvin has got past Ant, so Ant going backwards at the moment. BITW is going to come back at Bergen on the inside. Calvin is going to go right to the inside as well to overtake both of them and move up to P4. And Xavier has lost out to J-Sarge as well, so it's all happening here at the moment.
Don't know where to watch.
Yeah, Bergen and BITW are still battling. Bergen's picked up a penalty. I saw him going off there. And now right to the inside of the track. Everyone's going to get through. And finally gets past Bergen. He's still got BITW in front. But Calvin was a big winner there.
Red car and Arrow seems to be...
Oh, and another crash at the back. Mark has finally... Well, he's lost it a few times tonight already, and now he is out of the race. But no safety car. Not even a virtual for that, interestingly.
Oh, Xavier's going to be fuming for that.
Yeah, that would have been perfect timing for him.
You will be mad about this, I can imagine. I know exactly what he is saying right now in the party.
Yeah.
We've seen this so many times. Every time he needs a safety car, it's not coming. He's really unlucky with that. Jay's hard. Going for the lead right now.
Around the outside.
These are fighting back.
And still side by side. J-Sarge gets to the inside and holds on for now, but I think that fight is going to carry on potentially for the rest of the race between J-Sarge and G-Star. And if Xavier can just get dragged along in the DRS as well, that's going to help his cause, even though he's obviously got much more worn tyres. It might be able to help him keep the likes of Calvin and Ant at bay.
Yeah, contact between Donde and Bergen apparently. Don't know what happened there.
Yeah, Bergen into the pits, BITW as well. So they've gone for fresh tyres now because it's not worked out for them. Ant now is in DRS of Calvin. He might be able to move back up to 4th place, or at least back up ahead of Calvin, and start the charge towards Xavier. Although Xavier still is in the DRS, so he won't be losing too much time. Can Calvin use the DRS to come back at Ant? I think he's too far away to make a move. Womax has gone past red car. So Womax, who was right up at the front in those early exchanges in this race, Xavier now picks up a 3-second penalty as well. just to add to his woes.
Not going his way. Not his race.
Anthony now sets the fastest lap, 26.0, and he's taken quite a big chunk out of the gap to Xavier in front of him. He's also already pulled out of a second from Calvin, and still looking like he could well be a force in this race if he can get on the back of this battle. Xavier just about now outside of DRS range, although he's coming back, so maybe he did get the activation. Yeah, it looks like he did from how that gap came down. He's doing really well actually to hold on to these guys in front with those medium tyres at this point. Must be really struggling.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's sticking with them rather well at the moment. I was not expecting that, given how fast they could catch up to him. It's gonna be, especially with the time penalty, it's gonna be a struggle against Ant and also Calvin in the last 10 laps. So you will hope that somehow there will be another safety car.
Yeah, that's got to be his best chance now. I mean, if there's not a safety car, I don't know if he's got the grip left to carry on to the end. He's done 15 laps now on these mediums, so it'll be 24 if they do make it to the end of the race, but they will be in a very sorry state by that stage. But, you know, it might be his best chance of getting a good result tonight, so we'll just have to see what he chooses to do. J Sarge is opening the gap to G Star, but not enough to get out of DRS range. And Ant behind that gap has just stabilised a bit. 2.4 seconds at the moment. So if he wants to be in with a shout of winning this race, he's going to have to pick up the pace again and see what he can do. But at the moment, it looks like it could well be a two-horse race for the victory between J Sarge and G Star.
Yeah,
but still lots of time.
Most likely ending for now. Redcar's just got past Arrow Voice, who's also on quite old soft tires, and we won't be able to stretch them to the end, I believe. He's really struggling first, so he's another victim of the second safety car, and he's gonna have to hit again probably as well.
And now Womax has got through on the hards, and that was down the pit straight, so not even with DRS Womax was able to make that move. But yeah, Womax, as I said before, he was right up at the front at the start and before that last safety car, and since then he's just not really been able to make up the ground.
No, this unlucky VSC restart is affecting his race, apparently.
He's still got time to move up some places, but he's going to have to... I mean, at the moment, it looks like Red Car is pulling away slightly. Gap just over a second, so he's not got DRS either. And is coming back at Xavier. Xavier really dropping off now with the wear and with no DRS and no toe. This could be an opportunity for Ant on the next lap. With how much that gap is coming down. Womax now has got past Red Car. Red Car's actually coming into the pits.
Arrow Voice as well.
So they've decided not to try and drag those tyres any further.
Well, Xavier seems committed to do so, on the other hand.
Yeah, I guess at this point, where has he gone? He's
really running right now, yeah. gonna be a tough job getting those to the end. I don't think he can fight for a podium.
No, unfortunately. I mean, I didn't quite see what happened to him there. He just disappeared all of a sudden on the exit of turn 5, and was able to go through.
That's indicating he is struggling a lot, actually. So we will, at this point, he will be with his penalty. Maybe he can aim for P6, P7, but
Yeah,
I think he's even gonna be at risk of having a puncture.
yeah, definitely. I think he's got few enough laps that he could go for the softs at this point if he wants to. Let's see what he does this time by. He's going to carry on for a bit longer. He's probably just hanging on and praying for a safety car.
Most definitely, yes.
And still at the front, it's J Sarge leading from G-Star. I wonder if G-Star is just biding his time a little bit. He's got the DRS, so he's always going to be able to reel J Sarge in on the straights. So it's not really any point in him making a move for now until the last lap or so. Because for now he can just manage his tyres. There's been a spin, that is Bergen in the third sector, although he was quite far away from anyone, so that hasn't really changed the order. Dedge just set a new fastest lap. He's on fresh softs. Red car might be going for a fastest lap as well, because he's just fitted a new set of the softs down in P10. And this is getting closer at the front between J Sarge and G-Star, and has closed down slightly since getting past Saviour. So he might be able to mount a late challenge. He's got to try and get in the DRS, so he's got about a second and a half of time to make up over the next 5 laps.
Might be seeing an attempt from G-Star on the next straight. Well, he's not that close. Maybe too far away for this lap.
Yeah, I think really he's just managing, you know, his battery and his tyres for the time being. It looks like their general pace is quite even, so the DRS advantage for him is enough to just keep him there for now. And I think he can see, he's close enough to see on the back of J Sarge. Well, his light isn't on at the moment, but, well, it is on now. There it goes. So he can just see that J Sarge is low on ERS. And he doesn't have to do anything differently for now, although that gap has opened up a little bit to 8/10. He'll want to just make sure that he keeps it there before the activation point for DRS, which is just on the entry to turn 5, so he was comfortably within that. And this is actually preventing Anthony from getting close as well, and it's just starting to drop back a little bit. And Saviour in P4 is still going on these medium tyres. Extraordinary.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job on that one. Oh, now he missed the braking point by a lot. Or he had a lot of understeer at least. And he's gonna lose the place to Calvin, yeah. They are unable to fight back.
Yeah, unfortunately, the at this stage, it's not going to take a lot for him to lock up, and the traction is going to be pretty bad as well. He'll be desperately trying to stay within a second of Calvin before the next DRS zone. But we've got a great view here with the helicopter camera that unfortunately we don't see enough of in this game, I don't think. I feel like it should be a permanent option for you in broadcast view to be able to turn it on, because it really does give a great view of the cars and the track. Got a yellow flag in the third sector.
That's Scottish Ninja. He's around the final corner. Now it's Monster in the points.
Yeah, that was just onto the pit straight. Has he lost a front wing? Yep. I think he's had a similar incident to what we saw Mark have a bit earlier. Just losing traction out of the final corner and spinning into the inside wall. No safety car though. So even at this point, no relief really for Saviour. He's just got to keep fighting the car. And Womax is around 3 seconds behind, so with the penalty that Saviour has got, as it stands, it'll be pretty close between those two.
Oh, it will be really close, so for now he still hits. Well, Saviour is actually very close to Calvin. He's actually being held up by him. Now Womax is well within the 3 seconds.
Yeah, it seems to be the...
Seems to have the pace to keep G-Star away just enough for the moment. But now he's gonna... maybe we're gonna see an attack now.
Yeah, he's closed up a lot here, G-Star, but still just settles in behind with another DRS straight coming up. He could make the move now if he wanted to and try and get enough of a gap. He's going around the outside, and G-Star moves into the lead with just over 2 laps remaining. Oh, J-Sarge sliding around on the exit. G-Star now has got to try and just get the hammer down and pull away from G-Sarge, from J-Sarge rather, G-Sarge. Doesn't quite seem to be working for now. J-Sarge is right on his tail still as they come up to the line to start lap 28 out of 29. J-Sarge just pushing really G-Star down the track. Yeah, this will give Sarge the opportunity to come right back at G-Star if he chooses to. Or maybe he now will decide to hold on till the final lap. Yeah, he's closed his rear wing, so he's going to try and stay behind. Got quite a few yellow flags coming out now for cars, I think.
I think Scottish Ninja had a problem, or is it Ghost Rider? I think it was Ghost Rider.
We've actually got Bergen and Scottish Ninja fighting pretty hard for 14th place at this stage, but we'll revert our attention back to the front as we're coming up to the last lap of this race, and it is very, very close between G-Star and Sarge with 1 lap to go.
Oh, Saviour almost lost it. He's really on the edge now with his tires. So he's just 1 more lap. Oh, he's sliding a lot. They must be on over 80% at least.
Yeah, over the edge of the cliff. Now, is this
Basically,
going
did
to
the whole
be?
race on them.
Is this going to be where Sarge makes his attack, or is he going to wait? No, he's going to go for it into the braking zone of turn 6. Can he get the car slowed down? He can just, but save. G-Star is going to get a better exit, and how he's going to have the DRS. Has J Sarge been able to save up enough of his ERS?
Oh, they're really
G-Star's going to
going
get
at the last
alongside.
lap. This is for the win, guys.
And they're still side by side.
Still side by side.
G-Star on the inside has managed to get through again, so he's held off J Sarge. I don't think J Sarge is going to have another opportunity unless he can absolutely nail the exit. I think G-Star has done enough. J Sarge, oh, he thought about it. He thought about the send, but G-Star wins.
Wow. Wow. What a finish. And look at... Yeah, Xavier gets them to the end actually. He loses 5th place because of his time penalty, but wow. 25 laps on mediums. I didn't know that this was possible around here.
No, me neither. That's an incredible effort from Xavier. I can't believe that they didn't get a puncture at that point.
No.
But wow, incredible job to manage those tyres for that length of time. Incredible, really. I mean, that's from lap 5 or lap 4 to the end of the race.
Yeah.
Just insane.
Yeah, insane. I was watching him in the last lap and he was sliding in every corner. He almost spun. He almost spun at every opportunity that there was. So great job from him bringing that car to the finish line. And even in the top 5, if you exclude his penalty, so that's impressive.
Yeah, and I don't think I would have thought that was possible when that safety car came out and he had to stay out. I just figured that he would drop back from there, and he did, but not nearly as much as he could have done. So great job from Xavier, but a fantastic race at the front between G-Star and J Sarge, really making this an entertaining race to watch. And in the sprint as well, with Womack early on, and Anthony, of course, finishing in 3rd place. Superb race, and making up for the lack of official racing this week with the bank holiday in the UK. And G-Star wins the event overall as well by winning both the sprint and the full race. So excellent job from him. I would probably have to give driver of the day to Xavier though for that stint on the mediums.
I think me too. I'm going to agree with you there. That was some incredible performance from him. He was really handicapped in the race. First with his limited strategy choice, and then imagine you have no hard tire left, and then there's a safety car at the perfect moment to pit for hard tires. So this is how unlucky can you be? And well, he managed to do really well. I'm pretty sure otherwise a podium at least would have been possible. But yeah, managing the strategy was really a good performance from him.
Yeah, we should just give a mention to Chaos Druid as well, who has been in the chat. He put the soft tyres on lap 16 and got those to the end of the race as well. So that's a very good stint.
That went a bit under the radar when we were focused on the fight for the lead and Xavier, but that's equally impressive. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent job from him. And some excellent battling there throughout the field. So yeah, a really good race, and keeping us all entertained whilst the official races were not on. But we will be back on Friday for MRCX for the final round of season 13 at the Qatar Grand Prix, and then next Monday night it'll be expert tier and elite tier. LRL and myself will be there for elite tier for the final rounds of the championship, and then on Wednesday it'll be the comp tier and sport tier, and I know that there's at least one championship decider to come in the final round of races before we move on to F1 24. But yep, for now, thank you very much everyone for joining us tonight. LRL, any final thoughts?
I think you said everything. I'm really much looking forward to the last race weekend on this game before we move on to the next one. So let's see how this is gonna turn out. Yeah, it was a great season, and I'm really looking forward to that. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone. And we will see you again very soon. Goodbye.